got Trump imposing a 50% tariff on the Canadian goods effective August 19th. The thing that I just struggle with these tariffs that Trump keeps pushing in is like, he already got the other tariffs taken back and he owes money for it. Like, this is him trying to impose power that he actually really can't even really impose.
Welcome to the Canadian Mortgage Show. Here are mortgage professionals, Alex Pang and Alex Shanks, to cut through the BS and educate Canadians on all things mortgages and real estate.
Welcome to episode 99 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Alex Pang here alongside Alex Shanks. Alex, how are you doing these days?
Doing pretty good. I got my new hat. Look, it's still you sent it to me earlier after mine blew off in the wind for me, and I finally got a new one, and I still got the sticker. So probably should take off the sticker here for it too, but that's going to be for another time. But it's nice to have a nice new hat again.
Yeah, World Cup is over. It's kind of like they say it's the dog days of summer. Like, we're hockey fans. I'm a NFL football fan. I'm an NBA fan as well.
I have NSI. I'm doing a long fantasy football draft right now. We get 8 hours per pick. And there's
My goodness.
14. This is a crazy story, and I'll tell it because it's pretty cool. Like, I met mostly people. There's 5 of us that are in Canada. They live in like Ontario. There's like the rest of them for the US. I've met 3 of them in person. Like, I actually met them when I was in Disneyland in 2022. We've been playing football together since like 2015. Just met them randomly online, like through Reddit. It's not even a money league, but we've all been connected since like 2015. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's amazing. That's the power of social media. Hey, that's how you and I got together. Well, that's amazing. We've been peeling away, folks. We've been trying to peel Alex away from this boat to record this pod, and he's not really been working these days. So
No, I just want to go behind, surf behind the boat. We don't need to work. The problem is I work all day long. It's just when we got to do the podcast, it's at night. And I'm like, Alex, I really want to just go surfing.
Yeah. Personally, myself, like, we are booking a pretty big trip to England and Amsterdam, and my wife finally got the time off. And we're waiting. We got it approved. So today we spent the day booking flights, and now we're figuring out an itinerary, what we want to do, and all that stuff. And
Let me ask: Are you using AI, Alex, to help you make your itinerary?
Yes, I am. I asked Google, hey, here's all the things we got to do. We have 4 days to do it. Can you figure out an itinerary so at least we don't feel rushed and have some, So we're not going to follow it, but at least it kind of gives us a little bit of a
good context. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. England, we want to do.
It's going to be a lonely show. It's going to just be me, man, in the show here, man. I don't know how we're going to survive.
Yes. So like Alex has said to me that I kind of and the rock of the show and gathering guests and doing all the agenda and stuff. And I told Alex, are you going to be okay without me? Is this show going to fall apart without me? And Alex is going to try to look after while I'm gone, maybe bring in some guests.
We'll see. I will make it happen. I'm not going to say it's going to be as good as when it's, I did, on Friday, I had like a referral partner and just got some people that are in the industry to come out surfing, and had my assistant get food and everything. He kept asking me, like, oh, what do we need? I'm like, I don't know, man. I've never done a party before. You tell me what we need. It was kind of funny. One of the realtors, she was awesome. She's like, Alex, you need to start cooking food now. I'm like, okay. And I'm just kind of a go with the flow type of guy.
Well, yeah, like, I've hosted barbecues before with friends, and because barbecues, it takes a long time because you're cooking different meats, and each time you finish the meat, you kind of have to burn off the grill and just start from fresh again. You kind of have to start maybe like an hour or half an hour before people arrive, because you don't want people like standing around waiting for 2 hours, right? So
we were just cooking burgers and stuff, but like everyone was like hanging out, talking. We went on the boat, and then it's like, oh, it's like 12 o'clock. People have had some drinks. We probably need to get some food in us.
Yeah, because you need to soak up the liquor and everything. Yeah. So, I even said to Alex, worst case, I can bring the equipment and record while I'm in England. You
wanted me to do that when I was in Mexico. I was like, Alex, like, you can't do that. You gotta be able to like have a vacation. And so, worst case scenario, it's gonna be me, and it's gonna be me talking to the camera, and I'll pretend I'm talking to you, which like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, that's all good. Alex can line up some guests, and we can have a good show. And you know what? I do need a vacation. It's been a while, but we have a surprise for you folks. Can't tell it, but you'll find out next week. Alex, let's lead us into this. All right.
I mean, the dump of the yellow man down south. It's still just I don't know. We are in the newspaper comic book. Like that's what I feel like we're in, of someone just making the like the articles they draw in the newspaper of just the most outlandish things. And we got Trump imposing a 50% tariff on the Canadian goods effective August 19th. Now we'll talk about the goods. You got alcohol, dairy, wine, building materials, cement, plywood, consumer goods, clothing, furniture, footwear, hockey sticks. Oh man, the US ain't going to be doing good without their hockey sticks. Cut flowers, bulbs, diaries, notebooks, machinery, electrical equipment, all this stuff. The exemptions are going to be energy products, potash, fish, and critical minerals carved out. The thing that I just struggle with these tariffs that Trump keeps pushing in is like, he already got the other tariffs taken back and he owes money for it. Like, this is him trying to impose power that he actually really can't even really impose. And so like to me, I would say it's made the US honestly like look not good. If anything, like I would take that, like all the stuff that's happening is connected Canada, some other places that way. And also I think it's kind of made people think like, oh, does the US actually know what the heck they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it too is like even the US, is it the Senate that voted that his tariffs are unconstitutional and he still does it anyway? And I mean, these tariffs are kind of direct retaliation to three specific Canadian discriminatory measures against the U.S. One being alcohol. I know our province in BC as well as Ontario has pulled U.S. alcohol from the shelves, um, especially the bourbon and all that stuff.
He
And
also
I
said
know,
it's because of the smoke, man. It's our smoke. We let the fires happen, and it is Canada's fault that there's smoke going into the US. And
oh
it's
yeah,
like,
I've seen some of the social people are complaining about like, oh yeah, we should care about
what
them.
about the California fires that all spread up into Canada as well? Like it just and again, this is where I think social media is a good thing, but also someone like that high in power shouldn't be on social media the way he does it. I don't know if you've seen some of like the White House like social media. They have like the bombing videos. Like remember when they did bomb and everything? Like the stuff they're posting out there. It's like, do people think this is normal? Like, is this actually like what we're coming to? That we think that the U.S. government, like the people that's running this, should be posting a video that really an 18-year-old made?
Yeah, there's so much like rage bait, clickbait happening, and AI is taking over so much of social media. Like most of the time when we look at these outlandish videos or outlandish pictures or like or or things that people are quoted of saying, there's definitely thankfully there's people commenting it saying, man, that is so fake. This is not true. This person did not say that. This is total AI. This is garbage, whatever.
Yeah.
Thankfully human beings um can smell out the BS. I mean,
I
there's
was
some,
talking, let's talk about AI. This is scary, like for people. And this is again, me and Alex are putting our voices out here. So like this could happen. Realtor was telling us on Friday, his mom got called. They had his voice. He'd done some videos online as well. They called his mom and said, your husband, your son has killed somebody. You owe us all this money. And it was him on the phone saying that, hey, this is what's happened. It was his voice. And I mean, like, these are the real, like, we talk about already people trying to steal stuff from you. Of like, I got two things today of from Purelator, but it was like Bob at 199991. I'm like, who falls for that shit? Obviously, some people are, but like, it's going to get worse and worse with AI.
yeah, I've heard about that, what you said about, focusing on trying to defraud seniors,
Yeah.
about your kid being in prison. Please send this money as bail money, da da da. Da. And then when by the time comes, they talk to their son or their grandson. They're like, "Hey, everything okay in the jail?" Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And all that. And so they find out they've been duped. But yeah, like any things like that, fraudsters are getting definitely more sophisticated in that, right? So, I mean, if we go back to this whole tariff thing about the Canadian measures against the US, alcohol, like we mentioned, dairy, Canada gave better market access to EU dairy than to US dairy. And it's the whole supply management quota issue. and such. Motor vehicles, Canada maintained a 25% tariff on US vehicles not eligible for CUSMA duty-free treatment, and capped US vehicle exports from reshoring automakers. So the proclamation notes Canadian imports of US vehicles fell 22%. So that's roughly 25, like under 26 billion to, you know, 20 US billion year over year under that scheme. And so there's other goods covered by separate duties on industries, including autos and steel, will also be spared. So, I mean, there's always this tit for tat thing. I mean, I don't know what to make of this.
Again, but I mean, I've not seen what our government does be say that, hey, like Parliament's ever been like, hey, what you're doing is illegal. Like that's the difference is like ours, our retaliation and everything. And again, Trump is he is a 15, not a 10-year-old that's upset that he's not getting his way. He wants someone to bend to his knees, and I'd say this is where you start to get scared of like, well, this is how like dictators come to power is like when people like they start just doing imposing control, even though it's not right, they're still just going to push it through. And what isn't he? He's going for another term at presidency, which is illegal. Like he's done his
Yeah.
2 terms, he can't go again.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, he's got 2 years left in his term.
Yeah.
And it's well documented, the most recent in the World Cup, that he's kind of old and senile, and he probably poops his pants or he falls asleep during these congressional meetings or something like that. So, um, who knows? It's honestly like we kind of have to wait for his presidency to end before things really change. And if JD Vance becomes the next president, or somebody in the Democratic side become president, who knows if things will, hopefully things will improve in that rate with US Canada relations, as well as just global relations with, other countries and such.
Now, there's a lot of variations across the Canadian economy in exposure to these new 50%, like the tariffs that could happen on August 19th. Now, on here on the video side, you'll see like a preliminary estimate of the share of the exports affected. So you got from here in BC, we got 13.7 going across the board. Alberta really does not get affected. It's really going to be Ottawa. And I mean, BC is going to be the worst.
Yeah,
BC's
Ontario and Quebec,
13.4.
right? Yeah, because Ontario and Quebec, could be the most exposed, because Ontario obviously is auto manufacturing. Quebec would be probably aluminum, right? Would you say? And BC would,
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, again, like I'm surprised. Like I'm trying to think about guessing like why BC, I guess liquor for BC, wine and everything, and milk and building materials, I'm guessing is why
yeah,
so high on in
would
BC.
oil and gas be affected at all?
Again, that's why, hey, is BC going to get more affected? Yes. Now, Canada's answer to Donald Trump's tariff is for most of the province agree to remove our own interprovincial red tape and let the brewers and distillers sell directly to consumers across jurisdiction. Like, I know that you added the like some notes in this Alex of how have we let these rules last forever of like why the frick are we not trading sideways? Like
Yeah.
what have we done to Canada?
Yeah, like whenever I go to a liquor store, when there's, buying local wine, it's just BC. And,
Yeah.
of course, we don't have anything in the US shelves at this moment. It's all like New Zealand, Argentina, South America, France, Italy, da da da. Nothing in Ontario, right?
Yeah.
There's like, I'm sure there's a nice winery area around the Niagara region or other provinces. And I'm sure Ontario would love to get some wines from the Okanagan, because we're world renowned and everything like that. But the fact that we're not just talking to each other, like it should have been there in the first place. And if anything, the whole Trump tariffs kind of shines a light on how dumb our bureaucracy is, to be honest with you.
I mean that's kind of what we talked about last week with Heather just on oil and everything. Like the problem is like we've done this because this was the fair way of like, hey, let's make our economies all better. Canada's going to trade with the US is going to trade. We're going to do what we're each province is best at. That's great when you have a partner that wants to do stuff together. When you have someone that's trying to say, hey, you know what? I think we should get more from you and you should get less. Well, that's when it doesn't work anymore.
It's just tough. We'll see how things go. I mean, a lot of times Trump threatens these things, really not the intention to do anything, but it's kind of like bullying somebody to get a better deal. scaring
I bet
somebody.
you he's just trying to get his news off that the war in Iran's not over. Like the peace talks there are gone, and so he's probably just doing this to try and push the news over to this instead of what's going on over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like game playing and all that stuff. I mean, we kind of shift gears here to real estate here. Hey guys, Alex Pang here, your favorite Canadian Mortgage Show co-host. You've heard us talk about all things mortgages, but if you have questions about your own mortgage, or you're thinking about buying, refinancing, or renewing, send us an email at info@canadianmortgageshow.com. We're always happy to help. That's info@canadianmortgageshow.com. Now, back to the show. There's a report from Better Dwelling, as reported by them. Toronto new home prices are crashing more than 10% over the last 30 days. And so we all know that new home construction across the country, mostly in BC, Lower Mainland, and GTA, are suffering like dead as hell. But yeah, I mean, if you see the graph here, Greater Toronto, the GT area, new home prices, according to Altus, has dropped significantly. Now we know that the condos and townhouses seems to be kind of steadying right now.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, the condos in towns are really not that like, it's just that man, that freaking single family home, like the spike in like 2017, 2018's there, but goddamn, that spike going into 2020 to 2022 there, Jesus Christ. Just
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes back to how we talked about how, hey, during the spike here in 2021, 22, it was cheap interest rates. Government was printing money. Perfect storm. It was, hey, COVID, stay home, stay safe. We couldn't spend our money with anything other than Amazon, home fitness, renovation, people buying real estate. They wanted to get out of downtown core, move out into the suburbs because they were allowed to work from home. And they thought work from home was forever. We thought it was because we thought this is the new world now. And, people moved out, and especially in the greater Vancouver area, they moved out to like Abbotsford, Chilliwack, Hope, because working from home is forever. Or some people moved out to Okanagan. In the GTA, people moving out to like, geez, Ajax, Pickering, or I don't know. Like, I'm not familiar with the GTA geography, but you know what I mean. It's far. Where, now that the world has come back to normal in the last couple of years, work from home is kind of slowly not dying, but a lot of companies have shifted back to be like, I don't know if you're actually that productive working from home. So we're going to come back to the office and do some hybrid. So, people aren't liking this commute, hour and a half commute each way, a 3 hour, 4 hour commute. So, you know, cities that had no business going up in value 30-40% during COVID, they're coming right back down now. And we kind of see the big parts of it.
now, the funny thing that I can see with this graph here alone, and this is going on to what we're going to talk about next, is that Canada's building a record number of rentals and apartments, but a record low number of single family home sales. It's like we're going to hit this pendulum again of shit, prices are going down, maybe they'll go lower, and some people will win. Some people will be able to actually cash in on that. But when we stop building other homes and all we do is build rentals, well, our demand's going to hit again, and then we're not going to have enough homes. We'll probably turn the taps on immigration, then prices are going to go back up. Like
Yeah.
it, we need more rentals, but we also need to keep building the homes as well. Like this is like can't just stop building new homes for people and building homes that people actually can grow a family in. Like we're not talking about building massive homes. For one, I think the homes we're building are just too big nowadays. Like let's go back to like 17, 1800 square foot, 1500 square feet. Like let's build homes like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like those days where a bungalow, or like a two up, two down, or even a three up, two down, were considered the bigger bungalows, right? The older grandma bungalow houses was a 2 bedroom, 1 bath up, 2 bedroom, 1 bath down kind of thing. And rooms were all, so it's kind of like almost essentially like a townhouse on a detached property. Now it's not um, the best use of the value of the land, but that's what people want. And I heard in another pod that townhomes is what are hot right now, like what's actually selling. Condos are sitting, single family homes are probably sitting because it's still too unaffordable. Townhomes are still selling in urban centers because that's things what people can afford. The starter homes at 12 to 1500 square feet. right? Because eventually people do want to live in a single home, but not in a shoebox condo in the sky. Kind of segue into like, how the economy is doing. Alberta is probably carrying the country right now. Um, I think Alberta would, if we're going to compare this in sports terms, is the Messi to the Argentina team, where Argentina is pretty mediocre without Messi, and Messi has kind of carried them to to World Cup final.
Yeah.
So Alberta is pretty much carrying the country right now with their oil and gas. So if you see in this graph here, since the end of 2024, Alberta has accounted for the majority of Canada's net job growth, rising 4.2% over that period versus 0.5% for the rest of Canada. So this red graph here, you've seen they're accounting for the more employment. And you've
Yeah.
seen from previous graphs that we've shown in the past few weeks, the majority of the migration is going into Alberta because that's where the jobs are and that's where the people have been going to.
Jobs and cheaper homes.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And we can see how
no, I
right
mean, the
now.
one thing that I would say is also cool on this is that these are not just all oil jobs. Like Alberta's done a lot of work to try and get other like companies to come to downtown Calgary to actually bring like data, like actual like tech companies and other things. Like they're trying to grow it, not again just off the backs of oil. They made a lot of money back in the day and it went really good until it crashed on them. They are trying to realize like, hey, we can't only just have oil as our only industry. We have to have other things. Same as Canada can't just have like housing as our only industry.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, speaking of which, I do want to take a moment just to send our thoughts and prayers to those affected by the huge storms in Edmonton. I've been hearing that there might be like tornadoes and huge, well, like I don't even call it like hurricane or thunderstorms or like really like violent wind. I heard there was a concert in Edmonton Commonwealth Stadium. Was it Post Malone that they had to cut it short because it
What?
was like violent rain and like 100-kilometer winds yeah,
Crazy.
so folks, be safe out there. I know we make fun of Edmonton because it's cheap and you know what, but still, there are human lives to play it here. And even in out here in BC, there have been wildfires, like in Clinton, BC, where the whole town is engulfed and everything and such. So, even us here in the Lower Mainland, we've gotten some wildfire smoke that came in
I
for a
mean, the
little.
one thing I could say that's nice for bees, like I don't know if you've like it's the weather is not as hot as it was last year, this year, which I think is like honestly, it's good to know that like the fire, like we like this time last year we had rampant fires in BC. There's still fires, and again, all across Canada there's fires, but it is nice to see that it's not as bad as it was last year.
And like I'm obviously being a conspiracy theorist, but are most of these wildfires just being like stupid idiots like smoking and then just flicking their butts out of their car on the highway and
And
starting it?
some, I mean, if you want to go real
Or is it
conspiracy,
or people just not listening to campfire bands and starting it anyway? Just
yeah.
you know?
You wanna go real conspiracy theorist talks, like, like, firefighting is a full-on business. Like, it is a people make companies make money on that. If there's no fires going on, they're not gonna make money, like,
So they start the fire, they start the problem, and then they solve it.
I mean, it's pretty funny, like, when you talk where, like, "Hey, obviously, me and you, if there's no real estate going on, same thing." Like, obviously, we can't just do something to make real estate go better, but, like, in their case, like, it is that's what we're talking, like, tinfoil hat
Like
on here type of thing.
manipulate create a problem and then be all of a sudden come knight of shining armor and be the solution. Oh, oh man. Let's hope there's more integrity in the world like this because you know what, these are lives are at stake, people's homes are going up and people are being displaced. Like I was seeing some videos on social where, even like several years back when Fort McMurray was up in flames, same thing happening in Clinton, BC, where it's like obviously like the apocalypse happening. The whole thing is, they're just trying to get out and be safe you know, and such. But yeah, our thoughts and prayers are for them and just, All right. So, this is kind of a little extension of what we talked to Heather about last week about the LNG. There's been a 2 billion Metro Vancouver LNG plant expansion is moving ahead with potential First Nation ownership stake here. So Fortis BC is moving ahead with its plans for a major expansion of its existing LNG production and storage facility on the Fraser River in Metro Vancouver after the BC government removed a key regulatory requirement for the project. So the provincial government issued an order exempting the Tilbury LNG facility's proposed Phase 1B expansion from having to obtain a certificate of public convenience necessity from the BC Utilities Commission. So they're essentially cutting away the red tape.
Yeah.
So this provides greater certainty for a project that's going to cost over $2 billion. Although FortisBC must still obtain all the required permits and regulatory approvals before construction can begin. So it can start as early as the middle of 2027. So expanded facility potentially entering service in 2031. So this Tilbury facility is on Tilbury Island in Delta. So, much of the additional fuel is expected to serve ships traveling through Port of Vancouver along the west coast of North America and across the Pacific Ocean. So that's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, again, anything that we do here and it's going to benefit. We know that LNG is really needed, and again, it's going to be for BC Ferry, C-SPAN. Like these are all things that I believe are going to benefit BC as a whole.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it also creates a framework here that's allowing the Musqueam Indian Band to acquire an ownership interest in the expansion through a
Yeah.
partnership with FortisBC. So that's a good thing. All parties involved. I know there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen. At least uh, everyone's towing in the same direction here. So that's good news in that, right?
Now this one, and I'll actually, I don't know if you've seen. I'll talk about it after on here for some social media stuff. But an Agriculture Canada survey finds that 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped meals in the past 6 months. Nearly half have bought less meat, dairy, or fresh products because of the rising prices. Canada's food affordability crisis is now changing how people actually eat. Not a strong sign of a strong economy. Now, have you ever seen the potato guy on TikTok? Alex, he's out in towards like Chilliwack and everything. He used to be, I think he used to be like a corporate guy. His family owns a farm. They do potatoes. He does a thing once a year. It might even be once a month. But all the farmers, there's like 20 of them that they get together and they call it the ugly giveaway. They put all like the produce that they could not sell and they do it and they give it away. It started the very first time he did it. 100 people came. The last time he did it, there was like 100,000 people that came. And that's like, it's just showing how many people do not have food to eat, that they're coming to get this and they're getting good food. They know that it's like healthy, it's organic and everything. And I mean, those are things that make me sad. Even when you talk about kids at school, like I know like at my son's like elementary school, 1 out of 5 kids don't have a meal. Like they don't have a dinner to go home to that night, which is like, that is really scary.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, we've talked about it in recent episodes where when inflation was high, more people were using the food banks,
Yeah.
not just people who are downtrodden, even like students were using it. It was not good. Um, I mean, maybe even down the line, we can bring in a food expert to talk
Yeah.
about the whole inflation. Um, that's
And
something
again,
that
I mean,
I would
I
love to.
don't, that's my conspiracy that goes on with the food stuff so badly. Like, again, we have the Oglokablees and everything. And again, like, it made sense when inflation was going up, when the Strait of Hormuz was blocked and tankers couldn't go through. And so food couldn't get out and our supply costs went up. I can understand that, get on board that, all right, cost of shipping, everything went up. I'm sorry, where our oil prices are up, but like it's not going up 15%, and the chicken, the meats, everything just keeps going up and up on us.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you not paying attention, the word Alex is trying to say is oligopolies.
Oligopolies, same thing.
Oh, okay. So the Department of, I mean, we segue to a different topic here. We've always long crapped on the government for being fiscally responsible. Here's another example of them pissing away our taxpayer dollars. The Department of Global Affairs spent 130 million on a program to give away free motorbikes in Ghana. Now, this program failed. You can look this up. You can actually look this up on the government website.
What's insane?
Yes. The program failed because they didn't have the funding to cover the cost of fuel and spare parts. That's why it was deemed a failure. I'm like, oh my
That to
goodness.
me, like we as Canadians and citizens, like we should get the right to know. See, I want to know the dollar and cents where that money went. CRA called me today and said, Alex, I need to see where your income, your expenses. I would have to give it to them. I have to give it to them. Like I do like that's just it's so insane. Again, like, hey, awesome if they could have helped them and give free bikes away so that they can maybe help their families drive and do work. But $130 million and the program failed. Like w- w- we could have given 130 million away to all the feed people that we just talked about that need food.
Yeah, I was even looking up like what's the average like salary or what people make in Ghana? I think it's only like let me just do a quick search. It's like $20 a day or something,
Oh,
something
I mean,
something
yeah,
really
I
low
would
like
doubt
that.
like it's not, yeah, it's not
So
going to be
yeah,
high that
so
way.
sure you give them a bike, but they don't have the money for to pay for gas and to repair it. Of course it's gonna go fail. So like this could be another Jeopardy topic. Like Alex, I'll take ways to burn money by the government for a
Well,
hundred dollars.
again, the main thing I would want to know, Alex, is like, is that 130 million? Hey, did it actually all go to buy motorbikes? Okay, hey, that was stupidity. I would put a large portion of if we go back to the Arrive Scan app, that money all didn't just go to build the app. They went to freaking two people that got paid a lot of money for no reason.
Or you know what? Like you got to find out who this company is, and if there's definitely a kickback involved in some sort of right, some money laundering in some way.
Now, this one is here interesting on here. Mark Carney announced on July 21st the largest investment in the history of sports in Canada, 1 billion allocated to sports infrastructure, community fields, stadiums, and local parks. This is done with the intention of providing more development opportunities for athletes. Like we support the Canadian National Soccer Training Center to create a permanent national headquarters for soccer so that the next Alfonso Davies or the Christine Sinclair has the opportunities that they need, Carney said. Now, I think like just even doing that, like, yes, I see that, but like you go to a in the US, like the parks and everything they have, like we talk about the US being out of shape compared to us, but like a lot of them are also really in good shape, and it's because of the infrastructure they do have. You go to a park, it also has shade. You can actually go out there during summer, you can go out there during like winter when it's raining. Our parks, like they're not set up and we just put these cheap things up. We don't actually spend the money for people to use them, and that's where I want us to help like our really good athletes, but also just be nice for families to have a good spot to like meet up together.
Yeah, I mean, of all the things that we shit on the government of wasting, this isn't one of them. Like,
No,
yes,
this
you
is
can you can say, oh, they should go to hospitals, there should be more doctors. Yes, we agree with that. But I think this is also piggybacking on the huge success of the World Cup. Yes, they cost a lot of money to host, but that's all we talked about in the last 12 weeks. It was an amazing experience. Like, so I think as Canadians, we do like sports heritage culture is also an important thing. So if anything, they should divert it, like reduce foreign aid and
yeah.
do more of these kind of things to help our
Exactly.
our
That's
own.
yeah. Like, and again, hey, I want to make sure that hey, that they're not going to be spending $100 million on one soccer field to be like, holy shit, what the hell did you guys do? But it's nice to know that hey, like where that money and yes, could you say it could go to feed a bunch of people? Yes, like if we did that, but we also do have to do other things, and this is giving back to Canada.
And like, and speaking of the sport thing, like hockey is the number one sport in Canada, but it is a very expensive entry point. Like
Oh yeah,
that's one of the main reasons I never got into hockey because it's too expensive. Um, I got into the cheap sports like basketball and volleyball. I can see that because of the success of the World Cup in North America and even Canada, that and at the same time with the higher affordability, that more kids get into the cheaper sports entry
yeah,
level like soccer, and we could see I could see in the next 10, 20 years that Canada rises in soccer, but we drop in hockey because of that, right? Like, oh, we're not no longer like, yes, it's not our number one sport, but we're not as good as everyone else anymore, or everyone else is caught up, kind of thing. And maybe we rise from 30 to the 20s or the 15s or something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
That's stuff I can
Totally.
definitely see that with how the unaffordability is and the barriers to entry and all that stuff is. So this kind of wraps up our show. This is kind of a little bit short one. It is the dog days of summer, so I guess no news is good news. You would think, Alex?
I mean, in a sense, like that's the saying, which I hopefully, I mean, again, if Trump wasn't here, our show would have been like 15 minutes. If we didn't have Trump to bring in some more tariffs, and so again, there's going to be more stuff, and hey, we got to see bonds are going up a little bit. Obviously, pressure for rates. some talks like, could these tariffs make a rate cut come in? I personally do not believe a rate cut, but those are the talks of what's going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been long kind of talking about that, but um, this whole Iran war that's still not going away is kind of hurting those talks. So we'll see. I mean, they're not going to be meeting again till I think is it September 9th, I think, or one of the first weeks or so. So I mean, August, we're going into August now, so um it's going to be a slower news cycle. But we will still be posting. We have a special episode next week. I do want to share with you, but Alex says, don't, let's just do it
Yeah.
next week. It'll be
Surprise,
fun.
surprise.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll have less business talk and we'll just reflect on the first 100 episodes
Yeah,
that was. Right.
totally.
So folks, thanks for tuning in. If you like this podcast, do us a favor and share it with another person. Help us grow this community on Spotify and YouTube and wherever you listen to our podcast. So on behalf of Alex Shanks, I'm Alex Pang. Thanks for tuning in to episode 99 of the Canadian Worker Show. We're going to hit 3 digits next week. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating. You can even send us an email because we want to know what you guys want to hear about. That's what we're here for. Reach out anytime.